Introducing Enhanced Driveby Animations, version 2. The complete overhaul of vehicle combat for FiveM. Rebuilt from the ground up with improved animations, better optimizations, greater vehicle support, and more control than ever before. Version 2 uses over 5,000 animation clips to expand support to more than 500 default GTA vehicles. Enhanced Driveby Animations are so much more than just animations. Version 2 is powered by a highly optimized and configurable script. Some of the main features, besides support for default vehicles. Drivers now have their own custom animations to bring them into the action. And for the first time ever, you can toggle animations directly in-game, using our highly customizable UI. That means no more editing metafiles and layout names ever again. There are so many features, so let's get right into the configuration options. As expected, aiming behavior is one of the most configurable features. You can allow or restrict players from using the default aiming animations using Option, Allow Vanilla Aiming. If default is allowed, you can even restrict certain angles using Restrict Vanilla Angle. This will prevent players from aiming directly behind while using default animations. You can choose to allow custom aiming for all compatible vehicles, or only allow for certain vehicles specified. You can also choose to disable aiming entirely for any vehicles not specified. You can manually disable aiming for certain vehicle seats, or you can disable entire vehicle classes. The aimstyle UI can also be restricted for certain jobs. All you need to do is enter your framework and list of jobs to restrict. If you use a custom framework, there is a bridge file where you can add your own job check code. If you don't want players using the one-handed animation for long guns, such as rifles or shotguns, you can disable this feature using the config option. In addition to the aimstyle UI, players can quick swap between their last style using a command, keybind, or both, allowed or disabled by using the config options. This version comes with an integrated anti-seat shuffle. It is highly recommended to use this anti-shuffle and remove any others you have. With most anti-shuffle scripts, it constantly resets your player if there is no driver, and this does not allow you to aim properly without someone in the driver's seat. The integrated system fixes that. You can aim freely without any driver, and there are no issues. There is also a config option, Allow Shuffle command, which lets players manually shuffle seats when used. There are a few options for player notifications. The first, if you want to use the default GTA tip notification, which appears in the upper left corner. If this is set to false, you can use the bridge file and add your own notification script to be triggered. The second is whether or not you want players to be notified if they have entered a vehicle or seat that has drive-bys disabled. This is recommended so that players are aware that they cannot aim from that seat. If you don't want drivers to be able to use the custom animations, you don't need to disable every driver seat for every car. You can simply use the config option, Allow Driver Drive-By. Although we highly encourage you to allow drivers, and instead use the following driver control restrictions for gameplay balancing. The first driver restriction option has 3 settings. Value 0 will not restrict driver controls. Value 1 will physically keep the vehicle under the specified speed while the driver is aiming. Value 2 will allow the vehicle to go over the specified speed, but the driver will automatically stop aiming if it does go over. There are 2 config options to allow or restrict the driver from accelerating or steering while aiming. Do note, restricting acceleration will override the speed limiter, and the vehicle will slowly come to a stop at any speed. There is a similar speed limiter for passengers. This option is separate, so you can allow passengers to aim at higher speeds than the driver if wanted. If the vehicle goes over the specified speed, all passengers will automatically stop aiming. Now let's get into the camera settings. Both the first-person and third-person custom cameras have been rebuilt, improved, and optimized. We are confident you will love these camera views even more than the original. For general camera settings, you can enable aiming sway and weapon recoil. Both of these features also have options to adjust for the vehicle's speed, meaning the sway and recoil will be higher the faster the vehicle is going. These features are intended to help with gameplay balancing and will work even when using the default aiming camera. For both custom cameras, you can choose whether to enable or disable them entirely, and there are options to set specific field of view for both first and third person. The greater field of view is especially useful for the first-person camera and greatly improves the first-person driving experience. The config option, Force First Person, has 4 different settings. The default, Value 0, does not force the first-person camera at all. Value 1 only forces first person when actively aiming. Value 2 forces the first-person camera even when not aiming, but only for the driver. Value 3 forces first person for everyone when they are in a vehicle. The third-person camera has been improved to have 3 zoom levels. You can allow players to switch between them using V, or you can use the option Force Zoom Level and set a specific zoom level. Value 1 for the closest zoom, Value 2 for the medium zoom, or Value 3 for the farthest zoom. One of the last camera options allows or restricts using the default GTA aiming camera. Using Force Custom Camera Aiming will force players to use one of the custom aiming cameras. If they are already in the first-person camera, it will not change, but if not, then they will be put into the custom third-person camera. This option is highly recommended for gameplay balance. The default GTA camera can allow viewing around corners and over walls, which can create an unfair advantage. Below the main config options, you will find 2 further config sections. The first is the drive-by weapon config. Almost all of the GTA weapons are already configured by default, but you can add new weapons or edit the category and recoil values of the existing ones. Please note, rifles and shotguns are not allowed to be aimed in vehicles by default. You must use an edited weapons meta file to allow these weapons in vehicles. The second section is the vehicle config section. This section is very important if you are adding additional vehicles, such as add-on cars. If you are not allowing custom aiming for all vehicles, or if you are disabling aiming for all vehicles that are not in this vehicle list. The vehicle override list comes with examples for every option, but we will go through each one. First off, vehicles are added by their hash model name, so make sure to use hashticks and not either single or double quotation marks. Inside each table, there are multiple options you can set. The first is seats. For each vehicle seat, you can use 5 different values. None will disable aiming entirely for this vehicle seat. GTA will allow aiming, but only using the default GTA animations. Copy will copy that specific seat from another vehicle. If it is an add-on car, you must specify which vehicle to copy from. This is especially useful if an add-on car is based closely on one of the default GTA cars. Default will allow the custom animations, but use the standard seat offset. You should only use this for testing. Instead, use the last value, which is the offset code. If you are configuring an add-on car and none of the standard seat layouts will match up, using the included dev tool, you can generate the offset code that most closely matches each vehicle seat. The last vehicle option is hand. This option is based on which hand the front passenger uses to hold the weapon. Some vehicles, the front passenger uses left hand, others use the right hand. Value 0 for left hand and value 1 for right hand. If this option is missing, it will default to the left hand, since that is what most vehicles use, so you do not need to include it if the passenger uses left hand. Please note, this option does not let you pick which hand is used. That is predetermined by the vehicle. This option simply states which animations to use, left or right-handed. If the front passenger ever appears buggy and is not holding a weapon in their aiming hand, then they are most likely using the wrong hand animations. The aimstyle UI has its own config file, with options such as Open UI command, Open UI default keybind, Close on selection, and Allow on foot. The UI also has many options for customization such as UI style, radial, grid, or list. Option for whether or not to use images as button backgrounds or just a solid color. All of the elements can be modified: button text, subtext, border, background colors, and even the colors when a button is highlighted or currently selected. 4 color presets are included, but you can customize however you want. Thank you for joining us for this feature showcase. You can expect even more features and animations in the coming weeks and months. If you need support or would like to give suggestions, please drop by our Discord community, link in the description. Enhanced Driveby Animations V2, the ultimate drive-by experience for FiveM. More features, more vehicles, more control, available now.